So I wanted to show you what I made with the dahlias from the tuber you pick. I harvested some of my own flowers, so snapdragons, calendula, yarrow. I think it's called. I always mistake it for Levitera, but it's a perennial. I think it's called Malva sylvestris. It's the one that's in my hand right now. And I have some cosmos and some amaranth. So I figured I'd use all of the flowers ready to be harvested with the dahlias and make some bouquets just to get some practice. And also I figured if I have all of these flowers, I can do something with them. So I decided to make bouquets, and I put them out for my neighbors so that they could grab a bouquet and enjoy it in their house. So this is after I harvested all of the flowers. So I'm bunching them up and putting them into water, and then I'm gonna leave them to hydrate for a good long while. So I'm just bunching everything into bunches. I feel like it's easier to put them in these buckets if they're in bunches. If a bucket is like full of one variety, then I don't think I would have bunched it. But since there's so many different flowers here, I figured I'd start out just by bunching them and putting them in the bucket to hydrate. And so here's all of the flowers that I have to work with. I decided not to use the amaranth for bouquets. Instead, I'm gonna tie them up into bunches and dry them. So I want to try to make a wreath or some wreaths. So I'm drying these amaranth, and I also have some status that gonna dry, and a few other flowers that I'm thinking about, like celosia, just flowers that I think will dry well. Dividing or separating these ones in like larger flowers and smaller flowers, and then I'm going to show you how I hang them up to dry. So I have these S-shaped hooks, and I attach them to the rubber band that I made the bunch with, and then I hang them up in this uh, light that I have in the kitchen on the ceiling. So I just hang them upside down to dry, and they're still drying. Actually, I just don't really know how to store them, so I've just left them hanging from the ceiling, and it's nice just when you walk in, a bit of color and some interest hanging there. And then after these were hydrated, I am taking them out of the bunches, or taking the rubber band off the bunches and separating them into different piles based on color. In this dahlia, I found an earwig, so I'm obviously not going to use that one. You can see it's like a trail of poop, and then the earwig was actually inside of the flower. So I'm just dividing these into little groups. I feel like it's easier to make bouquets if I don't have to grab them out of a bucket each time. It's easier if they're separated like this. And then I just started making bouquets, and I ended up with a total of 4 bouquets. And since I had just like 1 or 2 of each dahlia, I didn't have like a specific recipe or a color palette. They all turned out really unique or different. Each bouquet is really different from the other ones. So I'm just making as I go, and I wasn't using the spiral technique, but I've been watching some YouTube clips on how to make a spiral bouquet, so I'm gonna try to make more spiralized. Yeah, I don't know, bouquets that are by using the spiral technique. But I feel like when I'm looking at the stems here and my technique, I feel like I kind of was making a spiral. I don't know. I don't remember if that was before or after I started watching the YouTubes to learn how to use the spiral. But when I'm looking at it now, it kind of looks like a spiral. So maybe it was. I don't really remember. But yeah, I'm just going to show you this first bouquet in regular speed, and then I'll speed it all up, and I'll show you how they ended up in the end. A little bit of a close-up of all of the bouquets that I made. So here are all of the bouquets made, and then I wrapped them in white craft paper, and here's what they look like with the wrappings. So as I said, they all turned out really different and really unique. Different colors, different like themes. One's more pastel, one is more like dark burgundy, one's more like a mix of different colors. Like this one is really fall-like, I feel. And this one is really fun with large sunflower. So my partner helped me to carry these down to our neighbors. And also, of course, my little helper. She's always ready to pitch in and help us. I just put these ones in milk cartons. And all of the 4 bouquets were gone within 15 minutes. So that was really great. And we just put them in this room we have where people can donate things that they no longer use to each other, to other neighbors. So thank you for joining me, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.